When we head into a new anime season, I generally speaking make a point to not look at what the new releases are, unless of course it's a follow up season to a show I've already watched. That's because, much as when you're watching movie trailers or when I was a kid and reading Nintendo Power and they were listing the new releases, I like to be surprised and I like to kind of have it develop naturally. So what I'll do is there's a couple sites I go to, Anime Landed 9 Anime, and I'll just see what they post on the main page from the season. And if the show looks interesting, I'll watch an episode or two, especially if it has a dub, and I'll give it a shot. If I like the first episode, I'll normally check to see if it's harem or yaoi or something else that's just a complete deal breaker. And if it's not, I might watch some more and maybe get through the whole season. Seasons these days are only about 12 episodes anyway, so if I like the show, I might as well go through it. And this is one of the pleasant surprises. And it's something heading into with a name like Hell's Paradise. I'm like, is this try hard edgy? What is this? It's a shonen. And shonen something I have very mixed feelings about because there's shonens I love, like Attack on Titan, but there's also shonens like Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen that are very popular that I just really dislike and I can't even watch. But fortunately, this very much fits into the former category, and it has a lot of things going for it, things that I like. It's dark fantasy, and I'm just a fan of dark fantasy. It's a psychological thriller, that's another checkbox. It takes place during the Edo period, which is good. It has the whole lost world reality breaks down thing that I've referenced in things like Stalker or Annihilation or Atlantis or something like that I enjoy. It has kind of vague philosophical themes. It has a whole bunch of like weird mythological elements jam packed together. And despite all the blood and gore, there's a certain degree of wholesomeness to it. And that all kind of puts itself together into something that I can really dig. Now, I will say that this is something I probably would have liked even more back in my teen years or in my early 20s because I find over time I don't have the same appreciation of action scenes that I used to, particularly in anime. If it's something really stylized and cool, like in John Wick, or something that's very realistic, like in um, Secret Soldiers at Benghazi or something like that, then that's something that I will be really engaged with. But I've just seen so many action animes over time, it just doesn't really affect me as much as it used to. I guess Attack on Titan would be another thing where the action scenes are just really fascinating because there's such like a tactical depth to them. So the action scenes in this show are really really good. It's just something I'm not as interested in as I used to be. But if you're someone who's interested in that sort of thing, you'd very much like it. So, what is Hell's Paradise? Now that I've rambled on for about 3 minutes, what is the plot to it? So, during the Edo period, the shogun has gathered together a collection of the worst criminals in all of Japan, and his plan is to send them to an island. I think the island is called Hell's Paradise or something like that. They say they're sending them to paradise because there is the elixir of immortality, and the shogun wants it. And anyone who's able to get the elixir of life and bring it back will get a pardon and the slate will be completely wiped clean. Each criminal will be accompanied by a an asamon, which is a term I had never heard, but I guess it's a samurai executioner or like a samurai, like an elite samurai in the service of the shogun who primarily deals with criminals or something like that. So every criminal is accompanied by an asamon, and most of the criminals have supernatural abilities. And very early on, we're introduced to our main character, Gabby Maru. So Gabby Maru was formerly known as Gabby Maru the Hollow and was one of the most feared and dangerous ninja assassins in all of Japan, known for his complete lack of emotion. Now, when we meet him, he seems like a pretty chill, nice guy, and throughout the show, it's kind of funny. You can't really marry up the whole Gabby Maru the Hollow because he's a very like genial, likable guy. And what we find out, and this is something probably the strongest aspect of the show, is so he was a ninja, and the clan chief of the village who he worked for to try to control him even more married him off to one of his daughters, Yui. Now, Yui was an incredibly sweet girl who tried to treat Gabby Maru like a human being, like a real human being, if you will, and just kind of showered him with love and affection and tried to teach him like manners and how to interact with people. And while he initially was very kind of hostile to her, he wound up falling very deeply in love with her, and she kind of became the reason for him living. There's an awesome scene in the show where there's like this thought female Kunoichi who's trying to hit on him, and he's like, "I'm happily married, thanks," and he just thought patrols her, and it's awesome. So Gabby Maru wants to get the elixir so he can get his pardon and he can go back and live with his literal waifu. And that's pretty sweet, and we get various flashbacks to Yui throughout the show. There's some like theory towards in the last episode that she's not real. I don't really see any indication of that. Um, but I think she's real. It's kind of interesting with her because her father got really mad when she was turning Gabby Maru into like a real human being. So he like shoved her face in like a fire or something, and she's got this hideous scar down the side of her face. And then we have a variety of other criminals, ranging from some who are more moral to some who are like complete and total monsters. And it's pretty interesting. So they all get sent off to Hell's Paradise. I'm not sure, I forget what the actual name of the island is. But when they get there, they immediately find that the island is populated by weird monsters that are a strange mixture of Taoist, Buddhist, and Confucian legends, all just kind of smashed together. And they're just weird mixtures of like insects and people and other kinds of monsters. And people immediately start dying. And we have our cast of characters just trying to survive and fighting against these different monsters. And we eventually find out that there's a group of Taoist immortals who live on the island who are like, I don't know if you want to call them hermaphrodites. They switch between like male and female, and they can change their body, and they like spend all day practicing like tantric yoga and just screwing each other and stuff like that. And they're really creepy. And it turns out that the elixir of life is created by basically torturing still living people by feeding them to like carnivorous plants or something like that. And that creates the elixir of life. So the elixir of life does exist. The island is just this surrealist masterpiece of just all this insane stuff that goes down. And we have all kinds of different fight scenes. We have ninjas, we have samurai, and stuff like that. And it's a lot of fun. And if it's something that if you like action, it's Mappa, and they always do a good job. I would recommend it. There's also quite a bit of fan service. There's quite a few attractive female characters, and that always makes it more watchable. So Gabby Maru, I really like. I think he's a really solid, good protagonist. We have our other main character though, Sagiri, or Sagiri Yamada, who is the Asaman assigned to Gabby Maru. So she is like, I don't know if they just expected to carry her character on the fact that she's like hot and has big boobs and stuff like that. Like, let's be honest, she's like a Stacy, so I don't know if that was like the intention. I think she's supposed to have like some complex, like inspiring character arc, but I just find her incredibly obnoxious. So there's only two female members of the clan, and when she first joined, like, and wanted to be a samurai, they're like, you're prime genetic material. You should be having children. You should be having like tall, beautiful, and high IQ children and perpetuating the bloodline. It's a waste to send you into battle. She's like, I don't want to have children. I'm a strong, empowered woman. It's not quite like that, but she wanted to prove to herself that she could be a samurai or something like that. So, the first half of the show, she just basically cries and gets her ass kicked. It's I just find her really obnoxious. It's like if she wasn't eye candy, she would be completely intolerable. But as it is, she's just kind of eye candy who's there to um like detract from the plot. I really don't like her. Eventually she finds her inner strength and she's like, I can be a strong woman and I can fight alongside Gabby Maru and he inspires me and stuff like that. And it's just I don't know. I normally don't complain about like strong female characters, but I guess I kind of feel like she just isn't. That she's just kind of a whiny baby. And I don't find her character arc particularly interesting. Gabby Maru's character arc I like. Um, some of the other characters, there's the guy with the glasses. There's the blind executioner. I like him a lot. And there's a couple other interesting characters, but I really dislike her. To me, the entire like good part of the show is Gabby Maru and his redemption arc and wanting to get back to his waifu. That and him fighting a bunch of insane chimeric creatures that are like nightmare fuel and these weirdo hermaphroditic Taoist immortals. Overall, though, I'd say if you like dark fantasy, body horror, just action horror in general, you like ninjas, the Edo period, Lost World kind of thing, I definitely recommend this one. There's a lot of anime that came out this season, some of it good, most of it not. But this is definitely in the good ones. And if I don't sound like I'm giving the most positive review to this is something that I liked and I thought was good, but I'm not sure if I'm exactly the target audience for this anymore. And someone who has more of an appreciation for the visual style and more of an appreciation for the action scenes, I think I could get a lot more out of it. I find the older I get, and my eyesight isn't actually getting worse or anything, but I'm a less visual person. And my focus is more and more towards characters or plot lines or interesting theory themes or stuff like that. But if you're looking for a good shonen, I definitely give this one two thumbs up, and I highly recommend Hell's Paradise. At least give a couple episodes a watch until they get to the island. It's a fun show. I don't have a lot more else to say about it, but God bless.